Evening all, and welcome to another Traffic Talk pod special. It's a match preview for the return of the Europa League. Reluctantly saying that because we were in the Champions League this season. Somehow we bottled it in Germany on the last night against Leipzig, and here we are. So, a bit of a different sort of show this week. Normally Cam runs these, but when it comes to Europe, here's your man right here. I have watched Sociedad the last 2-3 games. Honestly, we don't stand a chance. That's the honest opinion I have, and I'm kind of for once in agreement with the other two, with me, that is Kai and Mehdi as usual, for this special show. Before we start, obviously Kai wasn't with us on Sunday, and it's only right we give him a chance to express his point of view over the shambles we expressed at the Hawthorns. So, Kai, fire away. Tell us what you thought.
How can you not beat West Bromwich Albion, one of the worst teams in the Premier League, and you're telling me you can't score more than one goal against them? Terrible. That goal that we conceded, Lindelof, too weak once again. That's why Lindelof can't be playing for us. He's not good enough. Every time in the air, he doesn't win. He's not aerially good. Any big centre forward is going to dominate him. Always happens. So, and we didn't create nothing. We were poor performance. There's only maybe one or two players I can say that really stood out. I'd say Shaw obviously played very well once again, but McTominay wasn't too bad. Other than that, though, no one else I could say really stood out for me. And that's very disappointing. We've dropped points against Sheffield United, West Brom, obviously the Everton game, dropped points there. We're losing silly points. And now we're in a top 4 race because we were ahead now. Look at Chelsea, 4 points behind us now. Chelsea were about 10 points behind us like a couple of weeks ago. And we've just drawn so many games and lost so many points recently. We could have had second place, like we could have been ahead by a good 10 points or something. And now we're back in the top 4 race. So very disappointing. Yeah, very disappointing. Absolutely. I'm hoping that we got to improve, or who knows why the season's going to end for us.
Well, here we are. Unfortunately, this is what it's brought us. Last 5 games in all competitions, 2 wins and 3 draws. 3 of them, all of them in the Premier League. And as Kai has expressed, we were once top of the league. We weren't obviously expected to win the title, but we were in some way hoping to consolidate that and close the gap on Manchester City this season. We've already overtaken Liverpool, so that was the first achievement. Now it's a matter of staying ahead of City, who have just become very peerless in the last few weeks and have won 16 top-flight games in top-flight matches. So they've been very good, and it's hard to look past it. But it is what it is. Our league form, however, goes out the window here, even though it does reflect on how we play right now. It is back to Europe, and it's back to playing in for some people, the despised competition. I prefer to think it's a good one because of experience and watching numerous teams fighting for it whenever they get the opportunities to play. Yeah. So the Europa League this season is taking a lot more of a competitive stance because there's a lot more really good teams in it, this competition, where we have obviously the usual English camaraderie of Arsenal and Spurs in this competition. We also have Leicester, who have done very well this season and have at some point, obviously on Sunday, were second in the league after beating Liverpool on Saturday. Their form has been good. They've shown consistency under Brendan Rodgers. Talking of the competition itself, there are other notable names that are in this competition. You have Milan, you have Leverkusen, who are doing well in the Bundesliga this season, Ajax, Napoli are in the competition. Lille, who are top of the French division, are also in it. Shakhtar Donetsk, who scraped past Inter Milan on the last day, semi-finalists in the Europa League last year, also in this competition. Rangers, Rangers, and Unai Emery, who manages Villarreal. They are also in very good form, are in the top 6 of La Liga too. So there's a really good crop of teams here who you could say we should not have it all our own way this season compared to how we had it last season when we took the competition a little more seriously under Solskjaer. This time, life is a little bit different. United obviously being eliminated from the Champions League means a bit of a calculated decision needs to be made here. With Sociedad, they are currently 5th in La Liga and are closing the gap to the top 4 between them and Sevilla, which is around about 4 points or so. So they're looking very good right now. And they won on Sunday against Getafe, a very good victory for them. Alexander Isaac, the goal scorer. they have built a very good team, a lot of quality players. We've all had Premier League experience are in that team. Mikel Merino, Nacho Monreal, and the former Devil of Oz, and now Januzaj plays for the team as well. He's one of the tricky stars of the team. He's only just been reintroduced due to the fact that he has good knowledge about United and some of the players in the current team who we would have played with in the reserve games in bygone years. So, as I've said, me and Mehdi have watched the team back. So, I'll get Mehdi your thoughts on it. You looked back at their performances in the last couple of games in La Liga. What have you seen from them that will make it a little harder than usual for United to get a result?
I think the main thing is that they put crosses into the box, and that everyone knows that we struggle with crosses into the box. So we just have to. What they do, they bring their whichever side they're attacking from, they'll bring their winger to play more narrow, and it will leave space for their fullback to attack. And then that's how they get the ball to the fullbacks and then get crosses into the box. So that's the reason why I'm scared, because Wan-Bissaka's positioning is the only bad thing about him. And obviously he's not that good going forward, but he's improving. But his positioning, he has to be. Luke Shaw's good, everything about him is good, but Wan-Bissaka's the one I'm going to worry, because they're going to target his side and they're going to know that he can get at him. And from that side, they're just going to whip balls into the box. And Isaac, he's very tall and he's good in the air as well. I'm just not confident with our defenders to deal with crosses into the box.
Absolutely, and it is something that has been a big problem for United, highlighted again on Sunday from the opening goal West Brom scored through Diagne. It was Connor Townsend, I think it was Townsend, or it was the Chelsea loanee.
Gallagher.
Yeah, thank you. Conor Gallagher's cross into the box that set that goal up. But obviously, United didn't go out and shut it down in the first instance. They were all in the box, trying to shift it in and out, and eventually didn't push up. Yes, so led to the opening goal, and it shows that there is a significant problem with dealing with aerial balls into the box. It has obviously not just been the game against West Brom. It has been highlighted so many times in the past 24 months, I'd say, under Solskjaer, that United are incapable, regardless of who's in the back four, of dealing with those sorts of balls. And it was also against Spanish opposition last season that we failed in the Europa League bid, despite our best efforts after getting past Copenhagen by the scruff of the neck in extra time. We lost 2-1 in the semi-final, ironically, due to a cross into the box, which came from, it was Navas crossed it past, got past Williams, crossed it in, and there was 3 men in the box. All of them were not looking at the ball. Luke de Jong snuck in at the back post and just bundled it home past De Gea. Yeah. So it's been a problem for United since that particular night, and it obviously begged for questions from many fans about why the defense wasn't strengthened in the summer, even further to how it to the one that was had Maguire brought in and Wan-Bissaka. Yes, it's an improvement, but still can't deal with that ball in the box. Yep. So today, here we are. Once again, Spanish opposition, crosses into the box will be a problem. Another problem is David Silva. Now, he moved from Manchester City to Sociedad last season, albeit a little controversially after some interesting negotiations were going on with Lazio. Lazio obviously were looking to sign him on a short-term deal. But hijacking the move at the last minute, Sociedad offered him some improved terms, some improved money, I would say, and have brought him back to Spain for the remaining part of his career. He's 33, I think he is. 33, 34.
Yeah, about that.
Let me just get that. Let me just make sure I don't get it wrong, because I am looking at my notes here. Yeah, he is. He's around about he's 35 now. So he's no spring chicken, but he still has an ability to deliver. And with his history against Manchester United in the blue side of the city, he certainly has one-upped United on numerous occasions. So, gentlemen, how key is it that his experience in derbies will help in Sociedad's bid to beat United?
Yeah, I think obviously he's got a lot of experience of playing against us, obviously, as he's been at City. So obviously he'll have to help Sociedad, just like Januzaj, obviously give information to them how we play, obviously. So it's an advantage for them in a way to obviously have players that have played against us and played for us. That will obviously be a big advantage for them going into the match. So yeah.
Benny?
You see with David Silva, as Spanish opposition, we struggle because some of our players like Bruno and Cavani, they just want to go and get the ball, but sometimes that's just they can beat the press easy, especially because it's Spanish opposition. So if I was Solskjaer, I'd actually set up the team to not press and to just stay back, because them pressing, we don't press we don't press as an organized team. It's just 2 or 3 players just chasing the ball.
True.
If we do that, they're just gonna cut open the space and they're gonna break the lines, and then they'll just attack from there. So if our social, I'd set us up to just not press, because it will leave no space for the defenders to play out.
I agree. Yeah, we have a problem as generally as a club. We're not just talking about the current team. The previous squads have had difficulty against Spanish opposition. Spoke about Sevilla already. They did knock us out of the Champions League in 2018, and it was a bit more of a calamitous elimination than the one we had in.
Bilbao back
Bilbao in 2012.
2012.
It was a 3-2 win at Old Trafford. A fantastic performance by Bielsa's side that night. I thought they were.
Very good team then.
They were very unprepared.
Herrera and Llorente and all that.
Young Herrera, Uka Munayi, Fernando Llorente. A lot of the talent that was in that team moved on
Martinez,
moved on to bigger pastures and opportunities to develop their game, and have become big stars today. So some of them have really sprung in more ways than one in that game. Obviously, we have history with Barcelona. Not ironic that I'm wearing their jersey now. I'm just supporting them against PSG. But the actual fact is that we've lost to them 2 times before. So in history, Spanish opposition haven't been the kindest of us. However, we have had fortune against them before. Celta Vigo in the Europa League semi-final on the way to winning it in 2017. Overall victory on, I believe it was away goals, or was it 2-2? We won 2-1 on aggregate. We drew 1-1 at Old Trafford after Fellaini opened the scoring attack. So Rashford
scored a free kick in the first leg.
Yes, brilliant free kick in the Balaidos in Spain. Brilliant goal. Set us up for the second leg brilliantly. United in that game. Made it a little nervy. And if Facundo Roncaglia scored a header, which almost caused us to worry a bit.
What's his name? That old Man City striker nearly scored against.
Yes, John Guidetti. Last kick in the game into the box.
Kick.
Literally trapped for him in the area, and he missed it. Almost sending out of the Europa League. So literally with seconds to go, but missed it and scraped through. Literally last kick of the game, and we went to Stockholm to win the competition. So massive victory there. So history with Spurs opposition has its positives and its negatives. I could tell you about bygone years where we played against Valencia, the old Real Madrid, the superstar Real Madrid teams. Even Deportivo, we used to meet them on regular basis back in the day as well, and get the better of them on the odd occasion too. So we have not great history against Spanish opposition. That's a given, and many of us will hope that luck against them will come good tomorrow. But as I've said, it's a little bit of pessimism is still going around on the basis that United are not playing too well. Rory's joined the stream. Sorry to him. Obviously, we're waiting for an answer to get a talk.
Guys.
No worries, mate. Let's hear from you. Obviously, we've just been talking about the general setup of Sociedad, key men we should look out for. But I want to get your overall opinion on the game first, and then we'll get some more things out of you there.
Yeah, it's going to be a really hard game to judge after, it's a different competition. I just feel like Man United perform differently in Europe as opposed to the league. But what's been happening defensively, I feel like, I don't know. It's going to be a really hard game to judge. Hopefully, they would have realised and looked at their errors and kind of worked on, their defensive game in training. Because against Real Sociedad is, listening to you, there is some history there. And it's just going to be a really hard game to judge at this point. So I really can't say, if I'm being honest. I really have no faith up until, when that whistle goes from minute 1 till 90th minute, really.
I should have mentioned, you're right. And there is a tiny history, albeit we've only met them twice. We did get the better of them at Old Trafford in 2013, Moyes' era, before drawing 0-0 away from home in the Anoeta. Now, this time, the match is not in Spain. We are going to be playing at Ronaldo stomping ground at Turin, at the Juventus Stadium. So we have a bit of happy hunting there before winning 2-1 against the Juventus in 2018. So I think there's going to be an element of Sociedad feeling a little bit hard done by that this game's been forced away from their home ground. They would have preferred to have us played them there and really imposed their authority on the game in that field. They have a big pitch, much like Barcelona and co do over there. They have a very big pitch in Sociedad. It's a threatening place to go. I would say, if anything, it kind of works in our favor that we have knowledge of the venue in terms of how we should set up. And unfortunately, we have some of the players that did play that game are still at the club as well. So we can keep an eye on that one. Back onto our opposition again. And I really think another thing we should highlight is how they set up, which is I found fascinating. I'm going to pick up the 4-1 win against Cadiz, for example. In that game, and they've always started in a 4-3-3 formation. However, one of those three doesn't play in the trident in the middle. Mikel Merino, for me, is the most advanced of the trio. And then he will play alongside Oyarzabal and Januzaj. Those guys are brilliant on the ball. Crossing into the box, as Mehdi highlighted early in the show, is a threat that they utilize to the extreme. They love to get the ball into the box for Isaac. They have brought in Carlos Fernandez from Sevilla as well after losing Willian Jose to Wolves. And he's not been the most favoured choice at Seville, but he also has a threat that can be utilised in games if they feel they can add an extra bit of height on. So they have two tall strikers, one with pace and one with height. Another thing you should highlight is, as I mentioned, the experience of the ex-Premier League players. We talked about David Silva. Nacho Monreal's got history against United. He's played in the best part of about 9 or 10 former games against United for Arsenal. And has been on the winning side in an FA Cup quarter-final. So there's, in 2015, the Welbeck incident is what, if you're remembering. We shambled that one. He was on the winning side that day as Arsenal went on to win the competition. And yeah, we've spoken about Adnan Januzaj. Now, as fans, we remember him breaking into the team when Moyes was manager, and he had a fantastic start. I think he scored 4 goals in his first 8 games in the United shirt. He really performed admirably. We thought he would go on to bigger and better things. But 100%. recently he has come out and spoken about his time in the final couple of years at United, when he went from being in a reserve role to the top player he is today. Since then, we've seen him score at the World Cup, get a bronze medal. He's been in Spain for a large chunk of his career. And what has stood out for me is now he is a confident player, free to fly, happy to do whatever he wants, as long as he helps them win. And I wanted to hear from you guys. Was Januzaj a missed opportunity in our case?
Oh, most definitely. When he first came through, when he scored them 2 goals against Sunderland, I thought this guy's going to be like the next Ryan Giggs. I thought he's young, he's going to be here for the next 10 plus years. So I was expecting, I had a lot of hopes for him, and I thought this is going to be one, but just obviously didn't work out for him. Obviously, when Moyes was sacked, obviously Van Gaal came in. Van Gaal didn't really fancy him, loaned him out a couple of times, and then obviously his career at United just kind of fizzled out, which is a shame. Because I reckon if we had kept him, I reckon he could have gone on to improve. But Van Gaal kind of ruined him, in my opinion. Like loaning him out, didn't really give him much of a chance to show what he could do. And then obviously, I think, was it Mourinho that actually sold him?
No, it was Van Gaal. I think it was 2015. Van Gaal let him go.
Exactly. I would have kept him because he was still young at the time. He could have been proven. He could have been playing for us all now. So I definitely think it's a missed opportunity of not keeping him. Absolutely.
Yeah.
You guys?
I think under Oli, he'd actually be perfect because he lets the attackers play with freedom, and that's the type of confidence that Januzaj needs. Because we saw his first couple of games, you can see the talent there, and I really liked him as a player and as a person. I just wish like Van Gaal kept him, because if we had him now, I think he might have been the solution to our right wing problem. I'm not saying he'd be as good as Sancho, but we would never know.
True.
Absolutely. I mean, in all honesty, he's 26 now. He's coming up to the peak of his career, and he's certainly improved on a lot of elements of his game in the time that he's been in Spain. He had that low spell with Sunderland in the midish part of his career, and he didn't get much of a proper chance to be in the team because they were relegated that season. He did make 28 appearances, scored 1 goal. It surprised me. I really did.
Dortmund as well, didn't he, on loan?
Yeah, he had a spell in Dortmund in the 15-16 season when Van Gaal didn't favour him. He played in the Europa League spell they were in there. Got knocked out by Liverpool in quite dramatic fashion. Yeah. But still, he did have a strong involvement there, helping them qualify for the Champions League. Again, being second fiddle to Bayern. But he did have good spell in Germany. The trouble I have though is, giving up prestigious talent can sometimes, or potential talent can lead to regretting it later on.
Of course.
As England fans, we sampled that at the last World Cup, seeing him score the only goal in the 1-0 win for Belgium against England in the group stage. Belgium go on to the semi-finals, finish third against England. So he's been important for the national team as well. His caps, I think, if I just check, has now got to 12 caps for Belgium. But Roberto Martinez sees something in him if his big stars of the such of Hazard, do Hazards get injured or Carrasco? If they're not available, he can come in, and he tends to perform well in the Belgium shirt as well as he does for Sociedad. So it's important. You can tell playing with freedom helps players. Let's also speak about, I think, one of Europe's most prestigious talents right now in Mikel Oyarzabal. He's been fantastic this season for Sociedad. He's a homegrown player and has made 200 plus appearances for the club, 62 goals. Obviously, he's never really had the chance in his early career to blossom as he does now. But since obviously clubs have started to focus on having that trident behind the striker, the three attackers behind the striker, as a consistent formation. Nowadays, you see he has become one of the most sought-after players in Europe because of the quality on the ball, his ability to cross. He's a serial penalty taker, so he'd be ideal for us. He also has an excellent eye with the ball at his feet, and like most Spaniards, he passes it delightfully. Everyone seems to know that by now. But recently, he broke into the Spain team in December 2015. He only has 11 caps for 4 goals. Really, though, his club career is what people focus on, and he's honestly one of the best players to grace the field in a Sociedad shirt. So, guys, honest opinion, what are your thoughts on him, and what you like Januzaj is your threat for Thursday night? We'll start with Roy because he didn't get a chance to talk about Januzaj.
Obviously, because I can't pronounce his name, but he plays like
call him Mikel if you want to.
We'll call him Mikel. So he plays almost like a left wing, like part of because they play like a top 3, right? With him, Januzaj, coming the other person is. So I feel like Luke Shaw and Wan-Bissaka, whichever side he's playing on, or Luke Shaw and Wan-Bissaka shouldn't have too much of an issue with dealing with those 2 players, because we've got a bit of pace and some sort of composure, and obviously physicality in our fullback position. So I've got no disbelief that we won't be able to deal with them. However, if they do make those clever, like for example, something like David Silva, who is a great forward passer, he will find those pockets of space in between our backline and obviously our midfield 3, and be able to obviously put those balls in between, who we got playing at centre back, whether that be Maguire, Lindelof, or Maguire and Bailly. So it's just being able to how we deal with David Silva, because if we can pretty much cut him out of the game, then that kind of leaves Januzaj and Mikel off their own devices and have to deal with our fullbacks one-on-one. So I think game plan is, it's just how our midfield will be able to cope with the intelligence of David Silva. Obviously, we know what he's about, coming from City, has got, he's scored quite a few goals against us, got quite a few assists as well. And obviously he knows, the Man United dynamics in and out, really. So obviously Sociedad's got that cheat code there. But like I said, as long as we deal with him, we should be all right. I'm not going to put too much pressure on the defensive backline, but defensively we have been awful. But like I said, we deal with him, keep out the game. Mikel and Januzaj, they'll be kept in the pockets, hopefully anyway.
All right, gentlemen.
I haven't seen too much of him for Sociedad, but I've seen him play a couple of times for Spain, and he looks like a very good player. So, like Mehdi was saying before, about Wan-Bissaka's position, he's gonna have to be on top form. And obviously Shaw's been very good recently. I don't know if he'll start or Tellez, but whichever one starts out of them two, they're obviously gonna have to defend very well and try not to let them get him and Januzaj get too many crosses in. Because obviously you can see our defense centre backs can't deal with crosses, so letting them get crosses in is going to be detrimental to us. So stop crosses in, and I reckon, like Rory said, David Silva's obviously a baller. He's the person we need to watch out for the most. So if we can keep the If we keep the two wingers quiet, it'll just be about David Silva. And if we can stop him as well, then we may have a chance of winning again.
Nerdy?
Yeah, the first thing that Spanish clubs do with their players is they make sure that they coach them well so that they can pass the ball perfectly. That's what every Spanish club does, and that's what their whole team. But I say Oyarzabal a lot and David Silva, they can do that perfectly because then that's why I've been crying out for Mata to play because he is a brilliant passer of the ball and he never underhits it like Bruno does. You know what he actually does? He sometimes overhits it just to make sure. But yeah, like I said, Wan-Bissaka's position, he has to be careful because Oyarzabal at times he likes to come inside and then that's going to leave space for the left back or the right back to overlap, and then from there they'll get crosses into the box. So we just need to double up on Oyarzabal. And for David Silva, I'd actually get someone to man mark him. It depends who he plays. If it's Fred playing, I'd want him to man mark him because David Silva, he's good at finding the pockets and then he's got the quality to find the pass from there. So if we can man mark him out of the game, then that's one less person we have to deal with.
Yeah, well, I think we are dealing with a really good talent in Oyarzabal. They have produced in the last few years some really good players from Sociedad. Antoine Griezmann, who's about to play for Barcelona now, has come from Sociedad, moving to Atletico before playing for Barcelona. You have Aysel Yaramendi, who's won the Champions League with Real Madrid in the past. He's also had a lot of experience at the European level. He's a hometown player. Xabi Alonso came from Sociedad too. They've got many great talents. Today, even, you have Diego Llorente plays for Leeds. He comes from Sociedad as well. Yeah. He was managed, ironically, by Bielsa at Bilbao before moving across the Basque Country to join Sociedad early in his career. So there's a lot of talent that have come from Sociedad. Hence why Oyarzabal is another one of the stars that have really grown to become one of Europe's finest talents in the last few weeks. I think he will be someone to look out for. The rest of that team sets up, as I explained, in a 4-3-3 formation. So now we talk about United. How do Manchester United stop a 4-3-3-4 setup? It doesn't look like they will play like that from the outset. As I've seen, they adjust the shape accordingly. So when they have possession, when they don't have it. So maybe as will have seen as I have, they will change formation in a defensive setup. Yeah. It's between a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-4-2. So how do United counteract that?
I would say we should play. It's going to be hard. I don't know how to counteract them. It's going to be very hard, to be honest. I'll let one of you two talk.
I think it'll be quite like for like, no matter which formation we play, really, because the equivalent, our equivalent to David Silva is Bruno. So obviously they're going to have a game plan in terms of how do they cancel him out. I'm not too strung up on the Real Sociedad team, but like I said, in terms of our formation, we don't really know what our strongest 11 is. Let's have it outright. So it'll be a case of Ole just playing his cup team. Obviously, hopefully he should kind of know the severity of the Europa League. So he should kind of take it serious, regardless of to where we are in the league. Our recent games defensively have been piss poor. So there's no real way to cancel Real Sociedad out. They're a Spanish team. Spanish teams are technically good. It's how we kind of almost match that. Rather, as long as we don't kind of go in defensively doing a low block, we should kind of play them at their own game. Because we got everyone on the pitch is most players on our team will be technically gifted, can pass the ball, can pass it forward. So I've got no disbelief in regards to that. How we should line up, I think we should kind of go with our strength, which is pace. Or pace down the flanks. So as long as we've got Luke Shaw starting, not too fussed about Telles, but I think I would prefer Luke Shaw to start. Obviously, Wan-Bissaka on the other side. I would like to see Daniel James play, if I'm being honest, because he's somebody he gets underlooked, but he is a typical winger. He's got pace, not the most technically gifted, but he knocks it around you. He's going to beat you if you put a ball over the top, or he can play off the shoulders of the defender. If the ball is played nicely, he will get onto it, and it's that final product of a cross going in. So that's kind of where you'll have hopefully Cavani on the end of it. So I would say I would have Cavani, Rashford, and Daniel James as a top three, or as part of a midfield three in a 4-2-3-1.
Okay, I will highlight that they haven't got the fastest fullbacks, and playing the pace will probably play to United's advantage. Something which has been noted when they lost, ironically, to I think it was Real Madrid earlier this season. Even though Hazard didn't play, Vasquez is pretty quick, Asensio is pretty quick. They both managed to break in behind the fullbacks, who aren't very good in, like, let's say, over 3 or 4 yards. So if you get a James and a Rashford on against them, you will get the better of them. And especially, even though Monreal's got that Premier League fitness, he's been very well drilled over the years. He's not the most quick. He's not the most rapid player in the world nowadays. Maybe earlier on in his career, he could have got a few of those. He would have dealt with a few of those talents easily. But nowadays, Zaldua, who plays at right back, Zubeldia played at right back for a while as well, but he's a centre half by trade. He's someone who I think who might just dominate the game on Thursday in terms of the defensive aspects. They don't have their starting keeper, Miguel Angel Neuer. Not Neuer. He's normally, it sounds like Neuer, but it's actually Moya. He played for Atletico Madrid, has won the competition before. He's their number one choice, but he's picked up an injury in the last few weeks. So they're playing their second choice keeper, Alex Ramiro, in goal. I think there's a fair opportunity for him to take on a big team. He's never played in Europe, so this is his first opportunity in the Europa League. As I think there's a lot of talent there in that backline, though. Still, they're all homegrown. They're all able to demonstrate that they understand the principles of the game and will be a threat for United in defensive setup as well. All right, now breathe. Here comes the tricky part. Kai and Mehdi, this is your expertise where I need you here for. Who should United play? As Rory said, playing pace against the slow full-backs will be helpful. But we have now got that question of the matter of whether we play for all the trophies or just the league and the FA Cup. I leave it up to you. That's based on who they play with tomorrow night. Or Thursday night, sorry.
I reckon he's going to make some changes. He's not going to play our strongest team. There'll be a few changes. I think Daniel James will play. You may see. Who else will you see? I have a feeling Tellez is going to play. I'm rather sure, but I think Tellez is going to get a start. So I reckon it's not going to be exactly the full team, but it's going to be a team good enough to still win the game. So Tellez, you'll see James. You may hopefully Donny will play as well. It'll be good to see him play. So I reckon there'll be a few changes, but like I said, the team that's playing will be strong enough to still go and potentially win the game.
If Donny plays, I feel like Matt has to play, because
they play well together.
The Brighton game, their link up was amazing, and they're just alike in terms of they like to play little intricate passes. There's quick little 5-yard passes and stuff like that. So it'll be if Donny plays.
But if Matt plays, where do you play him? If he's not a winger. I mean, and you can't play on the wing, I would say. And where you going to play? You can't play him on the Bruno's spot.
Yeah, give him a free rub. But when he does play on the wing, he cuts in, which obviously leaves that web side he's playing on exposed for the fullback.
Exactly.
I'm talking about for our team though, for our fullback to kind of
push up,
to run into attack.
Yeah.
And obviously put crosses in. So he's clever in that sense.
True.
Do you know what I mean? And it's a case of do you rest Bruno in this game? Or do you play for?
Don't see it. Personally. I don't see it.
Yeah, I don't see Oli resting Bruno.
Nah.
But I think it's predictable what formation we'll play, because Oli only plays 2 formations: 4-2-3-1 or 5 at the back. I'd rather actually play 5 at the back, because I don't trust no one in that squad. I don't trust the defense, especially that trio that. Someone described it as the Bermuda Triangle. The 2 centre backs
and the keeper,
I just don't trust them. So I'd play 5 at the back, because with the wingers, we have to double up on them because they're good. They're good with the ball at their feet, and like I said, it's going to create space for the fullbacks to push up and then get crosses into the box. So with the midfield three, they're going to have to be drilled because Bruno, we all know he likes to press a lot, but he's going to have to be disciplined and not just leave space open for like David Silva or one of their midfielders.
Yeah.
Pick up pass on. So I'd play Van der Beek, Bruno, and probably McTominay, but I feel like he's gonna play Matic.
Yeah.
I don't think this is the game. This is not the game for Matic. He's too slow on the ball.
Slow.
Spanish opposition, they press you quick. They'll limit you to 1-2 touches, and Matic always wants to take 3-4
many touches. Yeah, I agree with that.
I think Real Sociedad are not Barcelona, but Barcelona exposed Matic in that game at Old Trafford, and I don't think it was a more perfect example of a watering down in terms of being a defensive midfielder than the way Busquets and Rakitic literally ran circles around him in that game. So we were overpowered in midfield that night. I don't like the idea of not playing him, but I also see the benefit of playing him because he progresses the ball better than McTominay could from a deep line position. Whereas McTominay is a man who runs, he likes to get forward. If you give him the freedom to run forward, he's expressing himself in areas of the pitch where he can flourish compared to just being a deep line midfielder as he did on Sunday, where you restrict him to just being in front of the back four and no more. So really, it's hard not to crack. But my ideal team, I agree with Tellez, because in continental games, he's been one of the best assist makers in the last few seasons. I think he's amassed the 20 assists in European football in the last 2 seasons. So he's got a good number of those under his belt. I think what I like to see Daniel James, but I'm worried that he still wants to trust Anthony Martial because of the fact. Now, just bear with me. Just bear with me. Not that I think he's going to start this game. I prefer him to be out like you do. But I think in Ollie's mindset right now, until Martial finds himself again, he's going to try and it's like trying to squeeze as much of that lemon as possible. He's trying to squeeze so much out of Martial. He will squeeze him even while he's in a bad patch. So I don't see him being dropped for this game. I can't see. I think this team will still be the same as on Sunday in the attacking sense. But the one difference will be either Donny plays, either Donny, Fred, Donny, Fred, McTominay, or Matic. 2 of the 4 here will play behind the 3 in the attack. And then you really have. I think the back 4 picks itself unless Bailly is fit. Now, I don't think Eric's fit because yes, he's just come back from injury. I'd love him to start this game, particularly as it's against Spanish opposition. We played with Villarreal against Sociedad numerous times in Spain. I still have a worry that he's not able to play 90 minutes. I want him to play the whole game. If he doesn't have the ability to play the whole game, you're asking Lindelof, who's still not at his best or even at form at the moment, to deputise him. Honestly, I don't like the idea of him being manhandled in the penalty area again by either Isaac or Carlos Fernandez, because they are both physical tools attackers. So I would rather play it safe and go with Lindelof in this game. I hate saying that. Trust me, it pains me to say that, but he will have to play this game because Tuanzebe's hasn't had a few. He has come off the bench, hasn't had the best of matches recently. But if he is, he might go with him, but I don't think he'll start him. If he wants to he'll do what he did against Everton. If United are winning and maybe by a slender margin, preferably without conceding too many away goals. Remember, this is Europe, not the Premier League now. Conceding at home is bad for us in this stage. We really rather concede 1 than 2.
This game's away, right?
No. We are still in, even though it's a neutral match. I don't want United to concede away goals. So we are the away team in this match, but next week we have to go back to Turin and play there again. So we need to score. Yeah, so we need to score and hope that we don't concede. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Otherwise, say for example, they lose 2-1. The United win 2-1, and Real Sociedad have the advantage of
Getting away
needing
goal.
to score just 2 goals to go
Yeah.
through. So they can win 2-0 and knock United out.
True.
That's the tricky task for
Very
United.
true. Very
They
true.
must not concede in this game. Otherwise,
Can't
the
see it though.
Spanish teams love hanging on to leads. They are the perfect example of parking the bus. Since Mourinho introduced it in the Real Madrid days, he always did that whenever he was 1-0, 2-0 up, even in a difficult match. And one thing is for sure, I seriously worry that if we don't get in front in this game, the first goal really matters. If we don't get in front, we're going to have a hard night. And the players' confidence is already shot. If it's shot more by not being able to score in Europe, then think about how bad it's going to be against Newcastle on Sunday. Because you need it to be a chain of events. You need United's confidence to keep going more and more, regardless of the opposition. It has to be consistent, and the inconsistency has been very strong recently. So the more we see United struggle, the harder I imagine our season is going to get. Not to mention, in between these 2 games, Newcastle and Chelsea, and then we have another Europa League game after that. Then Manchester City. Should we go through?
Yeah.
So our schedule doesn't get easier if we choose to go past Sociedad. I think it is a calculated choice again, like it was last season with the FA Cup and the Europa League and the Premier League.
I think Oli. Sorry.
No, yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say.
I have to breathe.
I was going to say. I think Oli just kind of needs to not make too much sacrifices, because again we need to find our form and also find our strongest 11. The issue again that we're having is we're conceding. Like, scoring has not been a problem. I'm not really going to talk too much about the Southampton game because that was potluck. But we're not scoring early enough. We're not holding on to the lead. We're not so much capitalizing on the other team's form. So Oli really needs to kind of put his thinking cap on and try and maintain a stay in every competition that we're currently in at the minute. Like I said, 1, to find form, two to obviously find what our strongest team is, and again, like he said, build on whatever consistency we can start with. Really,
I think it's ideal United get a run going now, sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
As City are not error prone, and their fixtures get a lot easier. They'll see the game against us at the Etihad as a gimme now, because we've not been very good. And Chelsea next week will not be easy either. And they have a difficult sort of period now. Southampton, us, and then Atletico in the Champions League, I think. Oh no, Atletico's after we play after Atletico. So they have a difficult period coming up. And their form has been very good. But I still see them as a threat now, because we've sort of done this to ourselves by dropping points and not performing to a standard in the last 5 matches. So we have to ask the question now, what do United do? I wanted to ask you guys generally. We have the Europa League as a fallback option if you're absolutely brick it. I highly doubt that's going to happen. I really hope it doesn't happen. But I also feel that there still has to be there needs to be an installment of winning mentality in this team, because you can win games, but you need to also add the silverware to it to prove that you're actually progressing. And a lot of people are going to say at the end of the season, what if we won the FA Cup, or what if we won the Europa League on top of finishing in the top 4? That would be a nice addition. Because for me, top 4 is not enough now. I think we need to really focus on getting silverware in the cabinet.
Yeah.
We can't continue this streak of 4 years without a trophy. So it obviously plays on my mind. I prefer the European competition over the FA Cup, not because the FA Cup is like a competition that's diminished, but it's a competition I highly respect. It's just the caliber of teams left in that competition. Yes, it's short of less matches to play to win it, but I think you have that extra, let's say, heritage and a bit more of a meaning winning a European trophy. Like I said with 2017, it meant something because we qualified for the Champions League from that. But also, it ended the wait for us to complete the set as a club. We ended that wait win all the trophies in club football that you could win at the time of existing. So some clubs now, unfortunately, like City or Co, cannot win it now. So, personal opinion, gentlemen, or from you guys especially, what is your realistic expectations from this competition?
I just think overall, if you look at the squad anyway, no one's a real no one's got much accolades other than Cavani in our squad. I feel like if you look at the team where everyone's come from, yeah, you know, everyone's obviously trying to achieve, but I feel like the position that they're in now, I feel like they're just happy to be there. If I'm being honest, then you know they're not really playing with a winners mentality. They're not playing, you know, they're not holding the club in high regard, because you know the mistakes that Lindelof and Harry Maguire have been making, man, them need to be getting hooked or getting that blow dry treatment, which you know it has to happen, and it's not happening enough. Like, I love what Ole's done, you know, as for the team cohesively, but you know you kind of need to. You keep talking about, you know, Alex Ferguson this, Alex Ferguson that. Alex Ferguson had no problem telling you that was shit, that was shocking. So you know, not to say you're going to be the next Alex Ferguson, but you're coaching Man United, and you know you kind of need to have that same mentality of, all right, I need to put players on blast. I need to let players know I can't rely on my captain or other players on the pitch. You put the team out, you coach the team day in, day out. So if they're not doing obviously what it is that you're coaching, you kind of need to put them on blast. And the only people that you kind of see frustrated is Bruno and Cavani at times. Obviously Cavani when he's making the runs and obviously not getting the balls. And again, with the same with Bruno, when people are not making the runs for the balls. So I feel like, you know, for the rest of the squad, they're just happy to be there. You know how they mess up, you know, and the position that we're left in. To them, it's going to be pretty much their best achievement. Whether we come second without a trophy or we drop so far down the table and end up with an FA Cup, you know what I'm saying? That's not good enough, in my opinion. So I feel like, you know, they kind of need to really take this game and every other game going forward seriously. Like every game is a fresh start to, you know, to improve obviously what you done before. So I do feel like they're aware of the errors. I had Harry Maguire's interview after the West Brom game. So now it's a case of, you know, have you had the bollocking? Are you aware of it, and how do you take it into the next game, knowing full and well the strength that this next game has on the competition and also the momentum of the team going forward. So I feel like they kind of all need to be singing off that same hymn sheet, really, and be coming off this, you know, we're happy to be here, happy to be in this position. Forget that.
Gentlemen?
I agree with what Rory said, yeah. I always say this after every match. You play for Man United. Players don't, like, the players back in the day, you could see they wanted to play for Man United. They realize exactly how big wearing the shirt, how much this shirt means. But you see the players these days, Maguire gives the same interview every week. Oh, we made this mistake, we should have done better. And then he goes ahead the next week and does exactly the same thing. Like, back in the day, people like Rio Ferdinand, Vidic, these players, if they made a mistake, it wouldn't happen again. It wouldn't happen the next week. They won't be coming out saying, oh, we made this mistake, we're going to do better. If they do that, the next week they are doing better. They're going to come better. But like Rory said, these players these days, it's just about money for these footballers. It's not like the players back in the day. They actually realise every time they put on that United shirt, they realise that they're playing for the biggest club in the world. So these players need to realise how privileged they are to playing for this team. And they need to realise that we have to be doing better. Drawing with West Brom and where we are and what we're doing this season and how we've been in the last couple of seasons is not good enough for a team of our stature. We need to improve. The players mentality need to improve. Like this season, we have to top 4 and a trophy is what needs to happen. That's the realistic expectation this season. This is what we need for at the end of the season. 1 trophy, whether it's the Europa League or the FA Cup, and the Premier League. And top 4. That's what needs to happen this season. Yeah. Or
I wish.
Otherwise, yeah, the Premier League's not happening. I thought it was, but it's not. But that's what needs to happen this season. Otherwise, this season's been a disaster. If we don't win anything,
I mean,
we come outside the top 4.
We've got 14 games to go. Do you know what I'm saying? And Pep said that, you know, like we can't carry this run forever. So depending on the result that we put out.
Exactly. If we want it enough, we got to want it
against them.
And we got to beat them.
Do you know what I mean?
What we also need to remember is City are yet to play in the Champions League yet. So they are fighting on 4 fronts. Obviously, this week is Liverpool and I think just Liverpool are playing this week, and the next week is Chelsea and Man City. But they are yet to play in the Champions League, our City. So once that gets going again, I expect them to breeze past Mönchengladbach. So then it becomes a matter of they'll get a tougher team in the quarterfinal, and maybe there he will commit more into less players in the league to push for the European Cup, because this is what their holy grail is the Champions League. That's what they're seeing. That's it. Yeah, they haven't won either of the European top 2 competitions. They have won the Cup Winners' Cup before, but it was in a bygone era before we were born. So so they have that, but at least the least we can say is that they're yet to really dominate Europe, and their first and key goal is the Champions League or the Europa League. They won't like the Europa League so much. They've not been successful in that even when they've been in it, but they've now been a consistent Champions League team now for over the last decade. So this is an opportunity this season, with the way the teams have all sorted themselves out, had problems in the league and financial matters, meaning they couldn't strengthen the way that City have in the summer. You're starting to really question whether those teams are able to stop them winning the Champions League this season. So I think they'll start to push for that a little more when they get round to playing Mönchengladbach in a week's time, and then we'll see how their season goes from there. But they have 2 players to every position, so it's a hard nut to crack. I think Mehdi didn't get to talk about the calculated decision we made. I think you've made it clear on the show a few times regarding what you think about the process I should take from now to the end of May. But just to reinforce it, I guess, do you still stand by United sticking to the Premier League and leaving the Europa League completely?
No, I think we have the quality to fight in all the competitions. But what I'd say is that I don't back Oli on this, but the 4 semi-finals that we did bottle, I can defend Oli in saying at times some of the players' performances just weren't good enough. Regardless of the tactical side, I think at times just the basics of playing football, they just weren't good enough. So that's why I show sympathy for Oli for that, because some of the times the players just haven't turned up, and Bruno's the only one that comes out after games after a disappointing result, and you can see that he's pissed off. But all these other players, they're just happy to collect a paycheck.
Literally.
Maguire, what is?
I don't even listen to him anymore.
You came out and you said the stupidest thing, and how is he our captain? Bruno is a much bigger leader than he is. Anyone can see it, and I think Bruno actually does our team talk. That's what I feel now, because we're talking about Oli not showing enough shithousery and digging into the players. We've seen it once. It was the City game where he was shouting at Lingard or Pereira. I think
Lingard was.
We don't know if he does it in the change rooms, but I doubt it. I saw the other day Pep. He called Rodri. He swore at his mum. I'm not saying go swear at the parents, his family and stuff, but at least show something in it. That's all I'm trying to say from Oli, because his personality, as in he smiles after interviews, he smiles when we lose this and that, But whilst we're playing, dig into the players. They're gonna think we can get away with this. The academy, they're gonna say, okay, I can lose the ball and not run back. Look at Rashford. Rashford, for the first 2-3 years, every time he lost the ball, he'd be running back. Now he just jogs. He's turned lazy.
Yep.
Bruno's the only one who'll lose that, and that's why I like him so much. He'll lose the ball. He doesn't let his head drop. He'll run back 50 yards and get the ball back, and we go again. Maguire making mistakes week in, week out, and it's coming out. We got unlucky. The decision of going our way.
Yeah.
Excuses, man.
Yeah, man, I get what you mean. I think a good example, group stage of the Champions League, when we lost to Paris at home, but it was when before they scored, you could see Bruno loses possession in our third. I don't know if it was him, but someone lost possession in our third. But he's gone right the way back to our box. to try and stop them scoring. Ultimately, it was in vain, but he showed something. He committed to the cause. Cavani did the same. Even though we lost that match 3-1, it cost our chance of going to the last 16. That was an example of what I think we all as a collective should see from a United team.
Every player.
Do not give up.
Every player should be running like that when they lose.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't care. I don't care if you've got like what the FIFA stats say is 24 pace or whatever. You still run. You still go the distance until the very end and don't surrender.
Players
Otherwise,
don't do that.
you're giving the opposition every right to come and tell you didn't commit enough against us and we exploited that against you. So you get what you deserve. And in the end, this is a testament of the form we've had recently. They don't go the distance. They don't go the 100% effort we're looking for from a United team. Ollie's trying to find that. He said it before the day we lost to Everton, that horrible afternoon, that he made it very clear. I want my team to be the hardest working team, the fittest team, the strongest team, the team that scores the most goals, that doesn't give up every single week. And he would get rid of the players that wouldn't be able to fulfill that task. That's exactly what happened. And there you go, really. It's proven to the day. He got rid of those who are the root of the problems at the time and is now building a formatted team, a team that's sorted out most of the problems. It is still not solved every single one. And it is getting criticism. The day I don't criticize Man United for defensive performance is probably the day I eat my foot. But at the same time, you still have to want more from these players. You still want to perform and give their best every game, no matter who the opposition is. And to see them playing for 40 minutes against West Brom, so there was no real intention to go and get them after going a goal down, is a prime example of the lack of confidence that some of the players Solskjaer has brought in he has in them right now. So
this is why I praise Mikel Arteta, because he comes out in his interviews and he says it's a non-negotiable for a player to not work hard. He's got every player in that team running, like working hard, but I don't see it with Ollie. Like you can see it, like Marcus Rashford for the first 2-3 years of his Man United career, every time he lost the ball, he'd be running back. But now he's just gone lazy. Like he can get away with it. That's the thing. Ollie's letting these players get away with it.
Can't.
But to be fair as well, I'm not obviously expecting people to be making 50, 60-yard runs. Obviously, you'd like to think they do that, but defending starts from the front, innit? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And our highest players don't press. The pressing comes from Bruno, and obviously Bruno's, he's part of the second third. Why is the second third, they're playing the second third starting to press? Do you know what I'm saying? So I feel like if we press teams more, I don't think we will have the defensive problems that we are having, because we're allowing teams to spin us or to run at us. We're not engaging, and it is frustrating where we need to be engaging. We need to be stepping it up, because most of these teams, most of these non-technical teams will play a low block. They'd want to keep the ball and then try and loft it forward. You know what I'm saying? So as long as we're tactical in that, in terms of getting in their faces, getting people on the turn, getting them on the first touch, looking out for these triggers, but it's coming from the top end. You know what I'm saying? It should kind of eradicate us losing games. Yeah, teams are going to score, but I'd rather, win a game 3-4-1, having been, scoring 2 goals in the first half, or even 3 goals. You know what I mean? So I feel like Ole kind of needs to look at his attacking plays and being like, you guys really need to press as a unit, but get in the faces. Get in the faces. High example, the Southampton game. Why can't we not play like that week in, week out? And look how easy we made it. Yeah, there was 10. There was 10 and 9 players at one stage, but we can do it. It's possible.
Exactly.
It is possible, and I think this team, when given freedom, can go out and kick anyone's butt. It's as simple as that. The trouble is, and I think you guys will know this season, is that United changed the way they play after last season. Maybe because we demonstrated way too many times. We're conceding too many goals. We're not showing the sort of we're not showing the sort of defensive dominance that a lot of teams should be fearing from us. So that they, in the sense that they would come sometimes and struggle to break a defense. I mean, we can't attack. We got to try and push. We try and push them, but we can't break them down. And United exploits that on the counter attack. So that for me was something which was of highlight worth highlighting. The other thing that was worth highlighting is how potent United's counter-attack was last season, even after Bruno Fernandes came to the club. Before it was still pretty good. You did have Rashford running, you had Martial running, you had Greenwood in the team, giving their all, trying to get the goals. James as well for a little period early in his career. He had a role in getting that ball, the outballs sorted. Those are good talents when it comes to playing on the counter. We changed to being a possession-based team this season, and then it just implies that we're not as energetic or as active going forward as we would have been before, and that is a great worry for me. I think we should have not. I think Oli, in selfish manner, as some of the coaching staff should really have focused on maintaining that. Still sign the players we want you to sign, but don't change the playing style, because that is an entertaining playing style. It's like, give it your all and see what comes out of it. If you don't make it, if you don't make it, it happens. You lose some, you win some. You just have to move on to the next match. But the principles of that they started with have suddenly just started to die away from us now, and they're not going on the counter as much as they used to. And even though we scored 50 goals this season, I still think we are not going to be able to keep this sort of style of play going for long periods of time in games. So I would love it to be changed into something different sooner rather than later. I hope that can happen, but it is how it goes, I'm afraid, with United nowadays. We're hoping just to sign a top centre back now, really.
Please. Yeah. Please. It's needed.
It's needed. It's needed. It is needed.
Go and get Sevilla's defender, man. Kunde, man.
Yeah, Gio Kunde. I mean, tomorrow night, Dortmund-Sevilla will be a fantastic game. I think you're going to be seeing an example. I watched the whole Sevilla-Barca game last week, and how brilliant he performed. He was absolutely incredible. Scored the goal. I had an exemplary performance, keeping a clean sheet against one of the best teams in the world. Right now, they're drawing 1-1 to Paris Saint-Germain. Yeah, they struggled. They scored through a penalty. They're lucky they haven't dominated the game. So it shows you. Brilliant goal, yeah, absolutely. We should notice that. My eyes lit up. I think you saw how all of you surprising that it was. So yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. It is pretty much it's pretty much how it is now for United. It really has to be it has to be like you stick to your principles and don't change them so much, and still sign the players that may have an impact in the team later on. Because I don't like being a possession-based team. I like us going on the front foot, and that's my preferred choice. Others will say maybe United's style changed because they're too scared to concede goals. We've conceded 20 plus goals this season.
We got better last season in defensive.
We were better this time last season, absolutely.
Exactly.
We have the worst defensive record in the top 10, I think.
We have 31 goals conceded this season. Only Liverpool have conceded more than us this season. Only Liverpool
forward this season than last season, but defensively we're worse.
Yeah, we are much better in attack, but that's because we abandoned the counter-attacking style for the sitting back style. Sitting back obviously meant we conceded less goals, but going on the counter, we scored a few more. And I'd say it's sad to see that especially congratulations to Mason Greenwood before signing a contract, but he scored big up Mason, but he scored a fair number of goals last season because he was allowed to go on the counter, and he could express himself much better with space and time to think about where he's going to either pass the ball or shoot. And he's got that in his locker. I firmly believe he has it in his locker. But reality is a bitch, I'm afraid, and it has to accept that defenses are in low blocks nowadays. I hate to see it. We all hate to see it. It's such an anti-football style. But that's how Man United. That's not Man United. No, we don't play low blocks. We don't do that. We are a team that that have been emblazoned on the passion of attacking, going out to win the game, and not surrendering until the final whistle. That's how it should be, and it should never change in any way.
Never change.
Alas, I tried to ask the question, man, because we've got to sign off because we all want to sound distracted clearly right now. But Kai, you wanted to say something.
When?
You wanted to say something just now because I was thinking of something before you wanted to say something to me before that.
think I forgot now. Actually, I think it's gone. It's gone.
Live TV, everybody. Okay, so to answer the original question, should United try and prioritise the Europa League? Yes or no?
No.
I say yes. I think we should. We're Man United. We should go for every trophy that's obviously on offer. Obviously, we have to think about obviously the Premier League and staying in the top 4. But we're Man United, so I feel we should try and win the Europa League if we can. It's a good trophy to win. Another trophy on the CV. Why not?
Okay.
Yeah.
I can't lie.
Okay.
All right, go on.
No, so
Go on,
go.
Rory, sorry.
No, go Mehdi.
I don't think we can win the Europa League because of how many good teams there are.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be
I
hard.
think we're going to lose against Sociedad. I think we get knocked out. But like I said, I think we have the quality to compete in both tournaments, the FA Cup and the top 4 and the Europa League. We have the quality. Like we have good numbers in every area of the pitch. We have Donny van der Beek as well, who we recently signed. So we have the players, but I'm not confident.
Do we have the manager? That's the question.
It's the manager. I'll be honest. I don't trust the manager, but I don't even trust that Bermuda Triangle. I don't trust them.
Nah, of course not.
I don't think any manager can deal with.
When you have Maguire and Lindelof, it doesn't matter who's coaching them. You're not going to get nothing out of it. Even if Guardiola was manager.
Yeah, Lindelof was all right under Mourinho, but
not too bad under Mourinho.
Nearly 4 years now, and he's not really sure.
He's not really improved. How are you not improving after 4 years? Doesn't make sense.
That's why people are trying to tell me Lindelof's better than Maguire. He's not. For me, Maguire's a better player than Lindelof. It's trash versus garbage, but Maguire's the better player.
You know what? Maguire is better with Bailly. When Bailly plays, Maguire looks so much better.
Last 19 games with Maguire and Bailly, we've only lost 2.
Yeah.
Exactly. Bailly makes Maguire look better.
Because Bailly's got that pace, obviously, to and he's a lot more assertive. He makes very rash tackles.
He's very rash at times. Yeah.
He commits, and he goes through with his challenges.
Yeah.
I mean, like if you look at the West Brom game, Maguire, like he's 15 yards away from the goalkeeper. Why would you not pass it back? Why would you try and block?
Oh yeah, that was
6 foot.
That was stupid. I don't know what he was trying to do.
Giving the defense a hard time. It doesn't make no sense. So it's little stuff like that. It's do the right things in the right areas. Like anyone at any level would know.
Pass back to the keeper.
You're facing your goalkeeper. It's a long run for the keeper to come out. I'm saying, unless your keeper's already off his line. But
you've done that against Everton as well.
Do you know what I mean? Like it's common sense. No matter what level you are. You look at how far your goalkeeper is off his line. If he's not that far, you can pass it back to him. It's a 5-yard pass. Easy.
Exactly. Yeah.
I agree. We all have our
Don't think.
I think Lindelof is just like too soft as well.
Too soft. No backbone, man.
No backbone. Feminine.
No backbone.
That's what I like to describe, man. He's like feminine. Like he's just too soft. Like Bailly, you can see he's got that shit housery about him. Innit?
Strong.
That's what I like about him.
Yeah. I agree. I would love for Eric. Sorry.
It's the African in him. Like he's it's true. Like I said, I'm not here to obviously to plant any stigmas, anything, but not the most technically gifted. But when he wants to go through, man, he's going through you. He's
taking everything. Yeah. Lindelof would never do that. I've never seen Lindelof take anyone out ever. Never.
Yeah, the Vidic tackle on Walker is what I remember when you talk about taking someone out by literally wiping them off their feet.
That was ridiculous.
That's the example we're referring to. Something like that. I mean, Kai's been propping for the 2 mongrels in Ferdinand Vidic for a long time.
Them two.
It's not been the same since, really. But yeah. So, briefly ask the question. I prefer the Europa League. If we get onto the FA Cup, just go hell for leather for all the trophies. Damn it, we're Man United. Yeah. I don't see why we shouldn't go for them.
Exactly.
Because it's the principle of a cup. You go for trophies, no matter how scant they are. We still go out for them. We still 100%. Go and get them. So 100%. The least I expect is we do well in this tournament. Because I prefer European trophy over the FA Cup. Why? It holds prestige over all of the continent. Winning a domestic trophy is great. I love the FA Cup. Yes, less games to win. Less of a worry in terms of the opposition left. Maybe just Man City and Everton. would be a worry for me. Sheffield United this season beat us. They would want to do it again in the FA Cup if they get past whoever they're playing, for example, and Chelsea as well. So there's still some decent teams left in that competition as well. We should not underestimate how hard this competition is, but that's why I say with this Europa League run, we could go on. I would love us to just go and take that seriously as well.
Of course, we can win that. That'd be great.
Yeah, we got to semi-finals last time, albeit it was knockout games with one match and not two. Yeah. So this time around,
the opposition it wasn't the best. The opposition wasn't as difficult as we have this season, for example.
Yeah, we made it hard for ourselves towards the end, of course, in the Premier League. But once it got more comfortable, once we gave up the FA Cup, it was clear. I'm going for Europe and the Premier League. We got top four and then went as far in Europe as we could. Should have won it, but alas, here we are now.
Could have won whole trophy.
Exactly. So this is why you need that silverware. Not only, as Nathan Jackson says, let's get both. He shares my thoughts and guys too. So yeah, a lot of you guys, I know some of the pessimists, not you guys particularly, but some out there who are pessimistic are all, thinking, oh no, we should just focus on one and one only instead of all of the trophies and everything. We're going to overdo the squad. Why not? Listen, football. Yeah, football.
Why are we going to just crumble in one of the tournaments? What's the point?
Exactly. There's no point.
All you can do is do your best, and obviously, if it doesn't work out, as long as you've tried as long as every player is given 100% in every match. Like I said, always say, I don't care if we lose a match, as long as every player has given 100% for the whole match, you're not going to win every game. Yeah. You can't win every game. Yeah. As long as every player puts 100% in throughout every match. As fans, that's all you can ask for, and you can't. If they lose, they lose. That's going to happen, but players are not doing that. So obviously, fans are going to be upset.
Aye. We've been talking for 70 minutes now, god damn it. So let's wrap it up quickly because lots of other things need to happen between now and Thursday. Obviously, we'll be back on Thursday with the match review. Hopefully, a positive outlook on the game and nothing different. But aside from that, quickly before we go, guys, your predictions for Thursday night. Start with you, Kyle, and go around the table.
I'm going to say 1-0 to United. I'm saying 1-0. We're going to keep a clean sheet. I have a feeling.
Okay. Maddie?
I'm not confident. I don't want to say we'll lose, so I'll say 1-1.
All right. And Rory?
I'm going to say a 2-1 loss, if I'm being honest. A 2-1 loss.
Okay.
I'll say a 2-1 loss. I'm going to keep it real.
Okay. It's a that's real, all right. He's real, all right. Last person in a European, in the last European preview we did, someone said we'd lose. It was who's not here right now. Perry of you who came on the show said we'd lose. What happens the next night? We lost. So let's see what happens after this.
Juicy worry, man.
No, Roy, you're realistic. You're being realistic. Good. I appreciate it.
Realistically, I'm not confident, but I'm hoping we can win 1-0.
I think we'll lose, like just me. It's just me being me.
I want United to win all the time, but I'm hoping we can get a 1-0. But I'm not that confident because obviously
I appreciate the honesty, guys. Don't worry, it's how we work here. Honesty is the best policy. And look, I'm like you. I'm a bit pessimistic too. I'm worried about a few elements of the game. Hopefully, they're dealt with on Thursday. But alas, thank you, gentlemen. I really appreciate you guys coming on. To all of you who've watched us tonight, thank you for joining us too on YouTube and on Twitter. Please follow us on Twitter if you haven't already, and on YouTube, hit the like and subscribe. If you want more of this, we'll be back on Thursday for more this hopefully good Europa League game. But until then, guys, appreciate you coming on. Take care, and we'll see you soon. Until then,